Hello everyone, this is Chrissy and welcome back to another What's for Dinner. Before each recipe, you will see a list of ingredients so you can take a screenshot and save it for later. Today I'm sharing one easy appetizer and two main dishes. Now let's get started. The first recipe is potato croquettes, and for this you're going to need cold mashed potatoes, some flour, breadcrumbs, shredded cheese of your choice, some eggs, some vegetable oil for frying, and that's pretty much it. Salt and pepper to taste. In a bowl, you're going to combine your mashed potatoes, cheese, salt and pepper, and 2 egg yolks. You can certainly add a little bit more cheese than the recipe calls for if you like a more cheesy croquette. To me, you can't have enough cheese, so if you want to add a little more, you go right ahead and add a little bit more. The easiest way to combine all these ingredients is to get right in there with some clean hands and just combine it. Knead it almost like a dough, and then once it's all combined, you're good to go. Before I shape my croquettes, I like to set up a dredging station. First, I'm going to dip them in flour, then egg, then breadcrumb, and then into the hot oil to fry. Next, we're going to shape our croquettes. Your classic shape is a short, stubby tube type shape, but you can definitely make them into balls and fry them that way. First, coat them in flour, then dip them in the egg, then roll them in the breadcrumb, and then fry. Make sure that when you're frying your croquettes, you don't overcrowd the frying pan because you don't want to drop the temperature of the oil. You want a nice brown color and crispy. Here's what they look like when they're done. They're so delicious and the house smells so good. I usually stack them on paper towels so they can absorb the excess oil. Guys, these are so good and so easy to make, and perfect thing to do with all those leftover mashed potatoes from the holidays. The next recipe up is a super easy French onion beef casserole. It was delicious. The ingredients are up here so you can take a screenshot and save it for later. The first step is to thoroughly cook the ground beef and add a little bit of seasoning in there, and then you can add in your mushroom soup and your French onion dip after the meat is thoroughly cooked. Next, we're going to cook our pasta. The recipe calls for 10 ounces, but I used the whole bag and it was fine. I had a crowd to feed and we had plenty, and there was plenty of sauce to cover it. Once your pasta's cooked, you're just going to combine it with that meat mixture, and then we'll start layering the cheese. Next, I added a thick layer of Italian blend cheese. You can use Gruyere, you can use Swiss, you can use any kind of cheese that you want. The first time I made this, I used cheddar and it was equally delicious. The more the merrier. I love cheese. And the final step before putting this casserole in the oven is coating the entire top with some French fried onions. And this is seriously the best part of the whole casserole. We're going to bake this at 350 for 30 minutes and you will not be disappointed. It was so delicious. Our next recipe is an easy crock pot pot roast. This could not be easier. It's basically a dump and go. Here's the ingredients, guys. Take a screenshot and save it for later. I'm using a 3-pound chuck roast, a thickly sliced onion, a packet of Italian seasoning, a packet of au jus gravy, 1 stick of butter, some carrots, and a cup of beef broth. I also used 3 pounds of baby Yukon potatoes. So this could not be easier. All you're going to do is throw everything into the crock pot. You can sear the meat on both sides, and in reality that would actually seal in the juiciness and improve the flavor, but I was short on time today. I had lots of errands to run. I did not have time to do that step, but I've done it this way before and it turns out just fine. So if you do have the time, sear your meat on both sides before adding it to the crock pot. If you don't worry about it. It's still going to come out good. When I started this meal this morning, I realized I didn't have any potatoes and I wanted to add them. So you'll see in the background there that the roast had been cooking for a little bit. I had to go to the store and get potatoes, so I wound up adding my potatoes in about 3 hours before the roast was done, and they were perfectly cooked. If you have your potatoes, throw them in the beginning. If not, adding them later is fine as well. We are going to cook this meal on low for 8 hours, and your house is going to wind up smelling delicious all day long. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your support. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and hit the bell notification so that you're notified every time I post. And follow me on Instagram at everyday_tidbits. Here is the finished plate. It was delicious. I really appreciate your support, guys. I hope everyone's being safe. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.